backup deck is something that I've been messing with for a while. This is Necrobelcher. This is a deck we worked on a long time ago, and we had some success with it. And I've been wanting to really redo it. I've been wanting to figure out how to play Karn in the deck after some testing. I just think Karn is too many 4-drops, too slow, too clunky. And I really felt the lack of Sheoldreds, and so there's some pretty big changes. The sideboard is basically completely different. We're only playing one March now. We're playing a lot more Sheoldreds, but the general core of this deck is the same. The idea is that you're a Necro deck, but instead of your normal win condition, you also have access to Lotus Bloom Belcher to kill people on turn 4. And you can also, when you're going off with Necro, draw into Belcher and set up for wins while also having a lot of cheap interactive removal. And so I think it's cool to be playing proactive removal spells, discard spells, alongside 2 just kind of I win the game buttons with Profane Tutor. I really like that Bloom on 1 or plus Profane Tutor on 2 just sets you up for Charbelcher plus win on turn 4. A pretty nice build, I think, and it's just one that I've been really wanting to play for months and circle back to. Is Bloom doing the fair stuff here? Well, if you call Lotus Bloom into Goblin Belcher, fair, I guess. There's no way to cheat it out like normal Belcher decks. Well, normal Belcher decks are pretty in on just on turn 4, I'm going to Bloom plus Belcher. They also they do play Tamashi. But I would say this is pretty normal. Get the Moxfield up to date too. Tamashi and War. Yeah, War too. That's fair. Where do people get the info that testing for modern doesn't happen? This is me speculating. They said they're pretty vigilant about testing modern, limited, standard, but not much more in terms of formats. That's good. They should do that. There's just been a lot of a lot of the card design seems pretty vibe based and last minute. But again, this is just me speculating. I hope I'm wrong. So it's nice that if they have a Karn, we have a Soul Spike. Unbound Flourishing. So they're comboing this with probably, Portent and, of course, K-Command. All right. Nice curve. Maybe they have an Ulamog they can cast here. That's an Emrakul they can cast next turn. Yeah, I think they're... I guess the best thing is just another K-Command, though. And then if they have another K-Command, they can make 16 mana just cast Emrakul this turn. Yeah, a pretty good starting hand, it seems. I agree. Yeah, I imagine the only other X-Spell they're juicing with Flourishing is Portent. My criticism of that kind of... or this kind of build of this this deck historically is that if you're playing Portent to make K-Command better, it's K-Command doesn't really need help being better. But that was a pretty cool turn. Obviously, you kind of have to have this specific curve. Yeah, so I think we're bringing in these 6 cards for the removal spells, which is just kind of your normal package against decks where you don't want to have your normal removal spells. You can still keep in the Soul Spikes. I don't know if they're playing Karn, though. War tokens to the graveyard. Well, tokens do go to the graveyard, and then they disappear immediately. But because they're in the they're being used to cast the spell, they technically are in the graveyard while the spell is being cast, and then they disappear afterwards. You could play Ballistas. You could. Ballista's pretty awkward, but it is 2 types for Portent, which is something. Eldrazi has Endless One as the next spell. Yeah. Isn't there another Eldrazi X spell besides K-Command in Legacy? Maybe I'm misremembering. There's 1 or 2 legacy only Eldrazi cards that are pretty cool. It always takes me a second to be like, okay, how many lands are in this hand? We're gonna click the keep button for sure. In this one, well, I thought there was one more that's like legacy only, but maybe I'm misremembering. Very good 6-card hand. So if I take Talisman, they still have 4 mana. Maybe I just take the Portent. Yeah, it's either I say you have -1 mana or you have no payoff, although they can dig for a payoff. You're excited about this card for Boros? Creatures gain +1 + indestructible, put a counter on each creature. I feel like I'm playing White Flare over that most of the time. I feel like Devour Talisman Sprawl are the same card. Yeah, exactly. So just have to take the Portent. It's very weird. You need to top deck a land again. My opponent exiled Devourer, Talisman, Labyrinth. But then they did keep a card on top. I do think White Flare is probably a little underplayed in Boros. Yikes. Do you just hardcast the Emrakul on the board? That one's for Mill. Don't know how we could ever beat K command X = 5 here. All right. Expel Eldrazi looking good. Now so we have all untapped MDFCs. Opponents on Numbol to 6 on the play. I'd have Frog in the top 3. That's interesting. Yeah, a lot of people would say Rumble is number 2. I think this is not true. I'd probably put Rumble also between Guide Pride, Johnny, Raptor. I do put K-Command over Raptor, which is something. Guide Pride, Johnny, Raptor, Flage. I think all of those are such similar power level. I just usually like to lump them together. So I think I need to try to Thoughtseize the Murktide instead of Profane Tutoring. Don't really care about any of these other cards though, so we can just play a tap land. Dauthi's interesting. Is Rumble the best common in Modern? Rumble's better than Lightning Bolt. I know people they don't like to hear you talk bad about Lightning Bolt, but Rumble is better than Lightning Bolt. They put 2 cards at the bottom. I think it's got to be the best. Okay, so we get a Lotus here. Yeah, I think I'm just going to be setting up to Tutor Belcher and cast Thoughtseize next turn. If they go score 1 units with Dauthi out, which side they can cast? The spell side. Yeah, Rumble versus Bolt, I agree, is not even close. It's sad that it's not even close. I think Eldrazi without K command is pretty underwhelming. I agree, but I don't think this is like a good argument for it necessarily. In fact, a lot of times it just kind of makes games kind of, I don't know, not that interesting because it's like, oh well, I was gonna be in pretty good shape, but they had the K command, so there was like not much I could do. How do they have a Thoughtseize in their hand? Okay, does any card matter here? Doesn't seem like it. I'll take the Thoughtseize, I guess. They can't even draw Sink into the Stupor, or they can draw it, but then they can't cast it. Spiletron to the 33, plump with the tier 1. I would say Tomio's better than everything except K Command and Nadu from Image 3. Tomio's really, really good. I think that Tomio is like a step below. I think she's pretty similar power level to Raptor and Johnny. Like Raptor Guide prior to Johnny Flage. All of these cards are so similar, and like they needed to take something away from this package. I think Tomio's about the same. Like I think you can make a good argument like either way for it, like being better or worse. So go for throw, Damnation, Defense Grid. I think I want to go down 3 Sheoldreds. And then the March. Is Tomio good? Yeah, Tomio was incredibly good. We played a lot of Tomio. Tomio is a better 1-mana creature than Deathwrench Shaman, I think. I think Guide Pride, Tomio are the 3 1-mana creatures better than Shaman. And I kind of think that like Shaman's close to Ragavan level. Thank you, Draven, for the gifted sub. I think Flage. Yeah, you could have been Flage instead. I think they could have been fine. Tomio is a good 1-mana planeswalker. She's pretty good. Is there common as good as Rumble, Legal, and Modern? Yeah, I think that we're just... This is kind of how this conversation started, or part of it. But yeah, I think Rumble's the best common in the format. Is Tomio showing up anywhere but Breach and top decks? I mean, no, but I think that a Tomio deck will kind of pop up again. Tomio is also like good in control. Some people play Tomio and Dimir, but she's not stock in Dimir. Like Tomio shows up a lot. She's great in our Eldrazi turns. Like here's Tomio showing up. You know, she does show up. Yeah, GG's always. Yeah, that archetype's pretty cool. Okay, goodbye, Hagra Mauling. Yeah, Tomio's is stock and Affinity, and I think our mono blue Affinity Urza deck, like of all of our pre-ban decks, I think that's the one that has the most potential to be like the new Mox Opal Imri Tomio deck. I think that one's really strong, although it kind of depends on a few metagame factors, I guess. Yeah, they call Deathwrench Shaman the 1-mana planeswalker. Tomio actually is a good 1-mana planeswalker. All right, come on, untap land. Let's go. You can do it, Dak. Let's fucking go. So they know I have the Go for the Throat, so if they have Snare, it's not like they're going to tap out of it anyway, so let's main phase this. Washi Tong, 2 months, welcome back. Used to be arena-only gamer, recently got into Moto a few months ago. I still hate the client, but Modern is better than any format in arena. I think that's a pretty valid take. You get used to it. Grist and 1-mana Walker, yeah. I think Grist still has some potential. Like, the problem is like you kind of have to pair it with. It's just hard to flip the Grist, and you have to spend a mana. But I have hopes that. Okay, let's suspend a Profane Tutor here. I have hopes for Grist one day, like doing something. I don't know what that something is going to be. But it does have text on it. I feel like is this an Oculus? I feel like it barely okay, just Harbinger. So if we draw any land now, we could win. If this resolves, they might have a consign. I think I'm going to cast the Belcher. It doesn't get consigned, which is nice. All right, not sure how many cards we get, though. I would like to Soul Spike this. Do 8. 8 puts me to 6, and I could take hit. Okay, we found one. Okay, so we have a Profane Tutor coming down, so if they take my Charbelcher, we could tutor for another one. Although I think I'm a lot more likely to just cast Sheoldred this next turn. Following up your new video, looking back at it, make sure how would I re-rank the Flipwalkers. I go a Johnny, Tomio, Ral, Sora, and Grist. Neither Sora nor Grist are very good. So they took the Charbelcher. So is the plan to cast Murktide And then I go cast Sheoldred, and then they consign the Necro trigger. Kind of feels like that's the plan. I think I just grab a Soul Spike. So they can't kill my Sheoldred kills them here. Seems like they've got a plan. Frog with the 10 months, thank you, welcome back. Hagra killed Murktide. I mean, yeah, we could have just killed the Murktide. I think I like this line. Kaito tap the Sheoldred. Fun. So I don't draw my draw step. We just go to my end step and I gain effectively 5 up to 11. Don't have to discard even. Okay, is it better to kill Kaito than to kill Murktide Regent? I think so. I can also maybe go Inquisition plus Mauling the Murktide next turn. If they had played a basic land and made this cost one more, that would have been pretty funny. Okay, so Force of Negation this. If their last card is a consign, we're still not doing... like, we wouldn't be doing that bad even if we didn't have this this Mauling, but with this Mauling, we're doing pretty good. So they're dead if they don't kill the Sheoldred. Nice. Fun match. I think I'm gonna give this one a go. Okay, missing a land drop. Mire again? Nope. Delighted to see ya. Never punished. Now rank the medallions. I've cast, obviously Ruby. I've also cast Sapphire and the Jet for sure. I'm not sure if I've cast any other ones. I've cast Emerald actually. I've cast all of them. I've cast all of them actually. I had a Mox Pearl deck with Essence Reliquary and Tax Collector, and Recruiter is pretty fun. Good for us that they played their Boseiju. Yeah, we used Pearl over Vial in that show, which is pretty fun. Yeah, I think I've cast all of the medallions. So that can answer my Lotus. Is there a bug shell that lets you run Tutor Cascade target for agent? There's not a shell where that's like the only thing you're gonna do with it. That doesn't exist. Make them think maybe we have a way to recur that. Two Cauldrons, a Voidwalker, and a Push. It's a pretty cool hand. They don't have Revolt for Fatal Push, which is interesting. Yeah, Cauldron Haywire might just... I'm just not going to be able to... I'm not going to be able to go for the Belcher anytime soon. So I think what we're going to do is we're going to tutor land off this other Profane Tutor, cast Sheoldred. And then we could tutor Necro potentially, although I guess that also gets Haywire Minded pretty bad. Although Sheoldred's also just kind of good against them. Is there a single playable non-flip Planeswalker in Modern? I mean, Karn is really good. Jace is actually like playable again. Teferi, like Teferi, Narset, Teferi, Hero of Dominaria are all seeing play again. We trophied with 4 Jace in our Eldrazi turns deck last week. That deck was so sick. How strong is the fair plan? It's less strong than Necro's fair plan because it's diluted a bit, but it's pretty similar. Yeah, but Planeswalkers are kind of on the comeback. Grist is also see some play still. 3 mana Grist. Jesus, 25 months. Welcome back. Main deck push and Yogg is kind of interesting. I guess this could be Rock instead of Yogg, technically. It is Voidwalker Cauldron mystery card. They exile my Lotus Bloom and then play another Cauldron. Okay. Was that on purpose? Ah, it was on purpose. I might just tutor another Sheoldred. Is that crazy? Because, like, Belcher and Necro are both getting Haywire Mighted really hard. But Sheoldred is just very tough for them to beat. Fun game. Have I seen the White Soul Spike? Yeah, we played that card a little bit, or at least we talked about when Beanstalk was legal. Just like Beanstalk, Wrath the Board. Do you play any weekly challenges? I usually do Fridays, sometimes Mondays, sometimes Saturdays. Although this Saturday I'm going wedding cake tasting. I guess I'm not blocking. I don't exactly know what this is bluffing. But if it's another push and they need this revolt, I could maybe Thoughtseize. 3 pushes main would be kind of weird though. They're trying to revolt. I mean, that's what they're representing, which is why I didn't block. But just like, if they're playing 3 pushes main, they're maybe just not Yawgmoth, right? Don't get the coconut. Yeah, I'm not a big coconut fan. But we're just definitely going with whatever Esther wants. Esther's just a lot more into food in general than I am. Okay, there's Dauthi Voidwalker. So take this down to 2. That's a good draw. So this protects from push. Does let them, I guess, they did have another push. So if I take Dauthi Voidwalker and then they Thoughtseize my Repast with this Voidwalker, I think that's just okay. I'm just going to take the Dauthi because I have this here. I still stand by 3 mana Grist being the most underrated card in Modern. Going halfling into Grist feels so powerful. It makes me any fair matchup so favorable, saying as a Yogg player. I think this is just not true because of Boros. Like halfling into Grist on the play is like a lot of times not even like close to good enough against Boros. But I think this used to be true. Okay, so they're gonna go Thoughtseize. They take the Repast. They push the Sheoldred and then just play another Sheoldred. And then they're at 4 and they're dead in 2 turns. Was their draw the 4th Fatal Push? Isn't the effects from the first Cauldron gone now that it's exiled? I can't see creatures' abilities, but they can't exile your artifacts or enchantments anymore. The Haywire Might has not been Cauldroned yet. Classic situation assess after the Thoughtseize resolves. Shrine Trip with the 2 months. Thank you. Welcome back. Oh, yeah, the draw was Saga. Yeah, that makes sense. Thank you, Beagle. Excited to do the Tarkir video too. It's gonna be long. Okay, so and their end step is when they decide to cast this. As good a time as any. This also gives it 6 toughness, so they can't activate Cauldron to kill the Sheoldred. Unless I'm missing something. Could also just draw a Belcher here. Should be kind of anticlimactic. Or no, it would be climactic. Okay, that's not a bad one. I'm going to just use this now because their ability to like block and then Haywire Might. Oh wait, then they just Haywire Might the Necro. Dang it. Okay, but they conceded. Okay, but they conceded. So it looks like them playing Saga means this is the Rock build, which is probably a fine matchup. They're gonna have a lot of disenchants though. Maybe not good. They just have a lot of disenchants at Bowmasters and Beseiju. I'm going to bring in the Path of Peril. Also have our Damnation. I don't think I want Dauthi Voidwalkers against them, but they could be okay. Oh, so there's another Damnation. Right. I think this matchup is slow enough for Promised End. Trim. Thoughtseize. Sheoldred seem like a big part of our plan. We're just trim a Necro and a Belcher. Seems okay. What's the rock build? It's like kind of Yogless Yogg, where you're taking advantage of like you're a Thoughtseize push deck with like a lot of Graveyard Hate and Disenchants, and like Grist and Urza Saga as your win conditions. Thoughtseize are pretty good. Do the how much you rely on Cauldron, maybe too slow. Yeah, it's just like you don't have lots that's good to cast off the Dauthi Voidwalker, and if it's like comes out after the Cauldron, and they have Fatal Push too, I don't know. It just seems a little narrow, maybe. Okay, this is a turn 4 win. Any permanents you'd want to sack. Okay, when this enters or attacks, you sack a non-land permanent. When you do, put a counter on each creature you control. Kind of always sad to see an enters or attacks ability that you can't Arena of Glory. Yeah, not exactly looking like one will build around anytime soon, at least. It's a cool one. Oh, sorry, I should have played Awakening instead, because that one's not really castable. So they took a Dauthi Voidwalker that we could maybe Fatal Push. I guess they could have Shadow Sphere in the deck to beat Repast if they top decked it. I guess that's true. They rumble into a Peatland, probably. The Golgari enchantment that draws cards, you put counters on creatures. I have not seen this card. It's crazy that the hits seem to just keep coming with Tarkir. I'm also just pretty nostalgic to be back on Tarkir. I think it's so cool. Removes so much with 3 mana. Yeah, 3 mana removals, exile target permanent mana value 3 or greater. Yeah, it's you just play Vindicate instead, probably. It's kind of fun this triggers up the Beanstalk. If Beanstalk were legal, I would be looking at this card. Although it wouldn't exile Beans. Matter with the 2 months. Thank you, welcome back. Have I tried Mox Opal Necro? We have, yeah. I had like a slightly different build from the version we had played at first, but I ended up not really circling back to it. Okay, Hollow Merc Siege. Okay, this card is 2 mana. Let me see if I kill my opponent here. Yeah, you can't play Halfling in the Belcher build, but I have thought about it in general. Yeah, seems like they have a Besage You. I'm still tutoring a Belcher, of course. They have to Besage You now. All right, so I think they're dead. Yeah, Dragonfire Blade looks pretty cool. Get belched. All right, negative 32 seems like enough. All right, nice bounce back here. Let's give this one a go. Once each turn equals design team no longer wishes to discuss whether this goes infinite. Oh, you could go infinite with that one. I'm sure. There's so many oh, you could play that with what's the Steamkin Elemental? Cast a red spell, put a counter, draw a card, cast a ritual, red spell, counter, draw a card, remove the counters. Kind of weird to be Jund. That'd be pretty fun though. If you got to pick a 10 out of 10 cube archetype to be in, what would it be? I love like busted workshop decks, and like workshop decks that would be a 10 out of 10 would have like Lotus Workshop, Tolair, and Academy, 2 Moxen, you know. Give me that one. Market back isn't good because Scales is unplayable. Yeah, is Scales unplayable? I haven't worked on it since the Gear Hulk build of the deck. Are we going to cube today? We'll probably cube today, yeah. We'll see how long this league takes and if we want to play another one. Opponent taking the standard minute 30 seconds to show up. I feel like the nostalgia for returning to flavorful and fleshed out planes shows how successful the block set format was and how shallow the one-off joke theme sets are. Yeah. I kind of have been thinking that, like, staying on a plane for 2 sets would be, like, a pretty good compromise. Doesn't this card loop with Ephemerate? It puts it on top of your library, not in your hand. So with the card looks like a 3-mana Cure and Hellraiser combined. You gotta be more specific, I guess. I don't know what card you're talking about now. Okay, Goblin Guide will never give me a land. It will reveal a Goblin Charbelcher here. Kind of rude of Goblin Guide. That happens before you draw an upkeep. I mean, it's just not playable if it doesn't put into your hand. Simply put. It's probably a fun matchup. So they have a 1-lander. I think we should take one of the 1-mana burn spells first. Since I'm mostly just trying to draw my 4th land and belch them before I get burned out. Yeah, they're just really restricted on the quantity of spells they can play, not the... So Thoughtseizing for me losing 2 life, I think is just too net negative for me here. I was hoping that they would play the Rolling Vortex. Instead they go Bolt Me. But I guess we just kind of can't lose if we cast this Belcher, right? Like their hand is Rolling Vortex, Boros Charm. There might be one more known. Sorry, it's kind of blanking, but aside from main deck Deflecting Palm, which we could maybe Thoughtseize, I guess. Okay. So winning game 1 against Burn is nice. Definitely don't have a lot in the sideboard. I almost played this March in the sideboard just for Burn. I decided to main deck it instead. Don't think March is very good overall these days for whatever that's worth. I think Tourach is okay against Burn. I'm going to try to get all these Thoughtseizes out of there. I think 1 path, no Damnation makes sense. I can play 1 Thoughtseize or 1 Dauthi Voidwalker or 1 Damnation. Is Burn big? Burn is a deck you are like not surprised to run into anymore. It used to be for a long time. I'd be like, Burn? In Modern? What? Wild. But now I'm not surprised to run into it. Oh yeah, Psychic Frog plus that enchantment, of course. Alright, let's keep this one. No Soul Spike though. They're on a mold of 6, which I like to see. Is go for the best 2-mana value kill spell. I think it is for the decks I'm trying to bring it in against. If you felt like a different one was better, I'd be interested to hear which one that is and why maybe. Yeah, it seems like bolting to kill the Swift Spear is just going to be net negative on my life total here. Okay, that's going to be pretty painful if I want to play the Lotus Bloom. Funny enough, it's now optional for me to play the Lotus Bloom. It used to be a mandatory cast. Why do bad players always have extra sideboard for Burn? Are you saying I have extra sideboard for Burn? I haven't seen anybody packing Burn sideboard for a long time. Although it's maybe common at like your local game store because Burn is more common at local game stores usually. But Burn is just barely popular enough on Magic Online. I think that you can at least think about what your sideboard plan is now. Hopefully we get something with the Inquisition. Oh man, exactly 2 bolts. Pretty bad for us. So now we can't cast the Lotus Bloom. At least the rules have changed to where now we don't just lose. They have 6 cards at the yard for towards Threshold. I go down to 5. Again, under the old rules, we would just lose, but now we don't have to cast this. At least that's my impression. I don't think I'm wrong. Okay, not wrong. I drew a Charbelcher. Well, gonna cast this one. They bolt me and Barbarian Ring me, so we go to game 3. Maybe we'll draw Soul Spike this time. I played Eldrazi Turns in 4 leagues this weekend and played 7 mirrors. Nice. I'm glad that people are picking it up. It's definitely like a really fun one. Okay, gonna keep this. It's a nice hand. Which rules have changed? So you used to have to cast your Suspend spell when it came off Suspend. No longer do you have to. You have the option of not casting it if you'd rather. I think let's just Soul Spike this. I'm gonna pitch Go for the Throat and Necro. Might just cast Sheoldred off the Lotus Bloom. Okay, give me back the Necro. Yeah. Goblin Guide never can give us a land, so don't want to let it attack first. Okay, so I'm going down to 19. Should have pitched the Sheoldred. Hoping for no Rolling Vortex. Yeah, play Shelly as a land. Okay, 3 cards in their hand. I'm at 14, and they've got a Swift Spear. They Boros Charm, I'm down to 8. And then if I draw a Bolt land to play Sheoldred. Okay, I don't do that. So, no thinking required. I took out 15 mana Emrakul, added 13 Emmy main board, and 1 Dismember over 1 Temporal Mastery. I think I would cut the 4th Temporal Mastery, but you could. I think 13 mana Emrakul for 15 is fine. I've been liking 15 mana one, though. It's probably close. Maybe not. Maybe just 13. Oh, if Goblin Guide attacked, I would have seen Sheoldred on top, and then I would have known not to pitch it, huh? I believe, yeah, you believe you can't cast the Suspend spells off Songcrafter. Same reason you can't cast them off Snapcaster. Target disc with this card. It sure does intertapped. It's kind of fun though if you could do that. So I may not suspend Profane Tutor and just pitch it. Although now that I didn't draw a black card, I guess I will suspend. This is the card you're talking about. Oh, yeah. I still don't know about this card. 3 mana 3/3. Enters, discard up to 2, draw that many cards. Attacks if there are 7 or more cards in the graveyard. Exile card at random. You play it. You don't get to play it for free. I don't know. This card's very weird. Seems okay. Yeah, it's more like a red Kiora. Yeah. I mean, it naturally has haste. You don't need to Arena of Glory it. You have to discard instead of drawing, instead of discarding, though, which is worse. You also get immediate value from Kiora. You don't necessarily get immediate value for this if you tapped out for it. So take that down. I really want to draw another Soul Spike. I'm going to draw 7. Nice. I just noticed we drew 2 more. Although I'm likely going to want to hold this one so I can tutor up Sheoldred next turn and play it. Tap out. Not tapping out. So I guess now I just grab the last Soul Spike. I just cast a Belcher. Since they're holding up Galvanic Discharge. Now, I'm going to need to draw 3 black cards. At the moment, there are only 2 non-black cards in the deck. The 2 more Belchers, right? Draw 5 here? I think 5 is good. Oh, the Lotuses, of course. Sorry, I forgot about the Lotuses. Okay, 1 anyways. It's gonna bring in Wrath. Go for the throat. I've also been thinking about maybe playing Tourach, but I don't think 2/1 pro white is really that good against them, or maybe just not good at all. I think we want to go down 1 Thoughtseize. I also think Marsh is just not good against Boros. Maybe that attitude's bad. I've just had so many bad experiences when they have Bombardment in play. Maybe I don't cut it. I think I probably would go down 1 Sheoldred, especially because I bring in an extra Damnation. Go down 1 more discard spell. Okay, be right back. Okay, pretty solid hand against Boros. I think we'll keep this one. What's Tourach for then? Blue-white control. Yeah, it's partially blue-white control. I also like to bring against Eldrazi, Titan, basically any deck where I want to cut the removal spells. But yeah, there's also there's been a pretty reasonable amount of blue-white lately, and so on turn 4, the ability to Profane Tutor for Tourach and kick it seems like something I want to have access to. It's pretty good. Did I consider? I did consider main decking Dauthi Voidwalker. Yeah. Felt like there wasn't really room with the whole Belcher package. Could be good to do. So if I draw an untapped land, I'm pretty incentivized to suspend the Profane Tutor so I can just belch my opponent turn 4, although we might be a little slow. The Absence Spoil is 3 mana value plus Vindicate. Yeah, an instant speed, right? I think I'm going to Inquisition. So Thraben Charm can kill my Necro, but we can try to play around that. Hopefully they don't top deck anything good. The new card, Sage of the Skies. Is that the 2/3 that gets copied if you cast another spell? There have been a lot of really nice spoilers today. This is going to be a great set to be brewing with. But I obviously... I don't have all these names memorized. One day there will be a Magic streamer who immediately has all the new card names memorized, and they will be much better at their job than me. But I'm not that goated. Yeah, I think I need to push here. Oh, I did know the name. Let's go. Yeah, the cards. I think of all the cards for the new set so far, that's the one I'm having the hardest time evaluating. I've not seen the new Mardu Saga. I'm pretty sure I haven't, at least. Either I haven't seen it or it wasn't good. The 7-mana unplayable instant. That one's going to be kind of fun to think about with Gear Hulk. I feel like there's one other way to cheat it and to play. I can't really remember. If you're sitting for this information, Kylie Jenner and Timothy Chalamet broke up. Oh no. I'll be making a YouTube video on this as well. I have to pick a side first, though. Okay, so do I kill the guide or do I kill the Ajani? I think the Ajani. Okay, so if I kill the guide, they only hit me for 2 this turn. Down to 10. And then they... I guess they can still have the Thraben Charm up for the Necro. If I kill this, then they hit me for 5, down to 7. Yeah, I guess I do have to kill the guide. They also may not hold up the Thraben Charm. I'm pretty sure they have the land for it, though. They plus the Ajani. That's interesting. Wow, they might try to minus on my blooms. Okay, they have a tap land. That's so lucky. So wait, we get to play Necro. Although, I mean, I hopefully just draw a Charbelcher because this Profane Tutor is not coming down until next turn. Okay, so my opponent's card is Thraben Charm. If I just don't do anything, and my opponent doesn't draw Goblin Bombardment, Ragavan, Flage, Stony Silence, Orim's Chant, cards like that, I just win next turn. However, I could take Fate into my own hands here. Opponent, I surrender Fate to you. The Pyro in the graveyard... Oh, sorry, Pyro kills me if they draw land. Okay, so I should have taken Fate in my own hands. Yeah, it's a lot of cards. I'm dead aboard anyways. No, they just plus the Ajani and I go to 1. And I win next turn. I did miss the Spyro though, so... We still beat Guide of Souls, we still beat Ajani, we beat Ocelot Pride. I guess we're dead to Season Pyromancer too, huh? They plus the Ajani. Ah, it was also Pride. Yeah, probably wrong, but we don't get punished. It's a pretty fun deck. Good one to circle back to every once in a while, I think. This lets you lose a lot of cards. Yeah, I just, for some reason, wasn't thinking about the Spyro or any red permanent. It did seem to be the wrong line. But we win anyways. Funny enough, there's a really good chance if we had got Necro draw 8, which was probably the right line, we lose. I would play it again. I was really trying to fit Karn into the deck for a long time. Just don't think it really works. But yeah. 3-2 with this. I think we 3-2'd with Devotion also. It was a 2-3.